IELTS shadowing channel. Practice speaking with me by listening carefully and shadowing to improve your fluency and confidence. Tonight's story is about gratitude and about how kindness, once given, often finds its way back. The winter came earlier than usual that year. Snow fell before the forest was ready, covering the ground in thick white silence. Branches bent under the weight of ice, and familiar paths disappeared overnight. For many animals, winter was difficult, but for a young monkey named Lumo, it was terrifying. Lumo had never known hunger like this. He was small, too young to travel far, and too slow to compete with older monkeys, who already knew where to find the last hidden fruits. Each morning, he climbed the trees with hope, only to find frozen branches and empty spaces where food once grew. By the time the sun began to set each day, his hands shook from cold and weakness. One evening, as snow fell harder than before, Lumo wandered farther than he ever had. His movements were slow now, uncertain. The forest felt endless, quiet in a way that made even small sounds disappear. That was when he smelled something unfamiliar. Warmth. Not the warmth of sunlight or fur, but something deeper. Something alive. Following the scent, Lumo reached the edge of the forest and saw a small wooden house. Smoke rose gently from its chimney, and a faint light flickered behind the window. He had never seen anything like it before. Hungry, cold, and afraid, Lumo hid behind a tree and watched. Inside the house lived an old woman. She was poor, though she did not think of herself that way. Her clothes were worn, her furniture simple, and her meals small. But she was used to winter, and she had learned how to stretch little into enough. That night, as she opened her door to shake out a blanket, she noticed movement near the trees. 2 wide eyes stared back at her. The monkey did not run. He was too tired. The old woman stood still for a moment, studying him. She saw his thin arms, his shaking body, and the way his tail lay still against the snow. Without saying a word, she stepped aside and held the door open. Lumo did not understand the gesture, but the warmth pulled him forward. Slowly, carefully, he crossed the distance and stepped inside. The door closed behind him. That winter, the old woman shared everything she had. She gave Lumo small pieces of bread soaked in warm water, saving the softer parts for him. She placed him near the fire at night and wrapped him in old cloth when the cold grew sharp. She spoke to him softly, though he did not understand the words, but he understood the tone. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Outside, winter raged. Inside, life settled into a quiet rhythm. Lumo learned to wait patiently while the woman prepared food. He learned where the warm spots were and where sunlight entered during the day. In return, he kept her company, sitting near her feet as she worked, listening as she spoke aloud to no one in particular. She never asked anything of him. When spring finally arrived, the snow melted slowly, revealing the forest once more. Lumo felt something change inside him. His strength returned. His curiosity grew. The trees called to him again. One morning, he stood by the open door, looking back and forth between the forest and the woman. She understood. The old woman knelt and gently touched his head. She did not try to stop him. "Go," she said quietly. Lumo left without looking back. The forest welcomed him, rich and alive. Food was everywhere now. Fruits hung heavy on branches. Seeds covered the ground. Life felt generous again. But every weekend, something unusual happened. The old woman would hear movement outside her door. When she opened it, she would find small gifts resting on the ground. Fresh fruit, wild berries, carefully chosen seeds, sometimes flowers. She never saw Lumo leave them, but she always knew. Summer passed. Then another winter came, though it was kinder this time. Still, every weekend, the gifts arrived. The old woman never grew rich. Her house never changed. But something else did. She was no longer alone. And somewhere in the forest, a grown monkey never forgot the winter that saved his life. Kindness is never lost. It only changes shape. Let this story stay with you, and rest well. Good night.